Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Does this do it for both the altar and breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. But you do have to keep it close. And I'm glad we all aren't so worried about COVID because this is awfully close. Oh, the unit is in the fireplace. I hadn't the vaguest idea, but it's probably a really good idea not to have a fire today.
Well, unless the amplifier catches fire, in which case we're all set.
We're all set. Well, I think it's much better this because I didn't like having it that close.
Okay, let me see. So if I'm speaking, well, the amplifier does two things. It does the person speaking, but it also goes to the live stream. What do you think? Is that okay? Yes. Plenty loud? Okay. How's that? Okay. How's this? Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. That's the. I have to be careful, not. You know what? I'm going to cut the treble and see if that. All the windows are open. The doors, I don't know if they're screens. Pardon? Okay, how's this? And the sibilants at the end are not so bad. Great. Well, that's helpful. 4. 5. We need fans like the ladies in church in the South. I went to a service at First Unitarian in Newton. My friend Kurt is doing the summer services, and they did a lighting of the candles for, well, not a chalice. They just had a box of sand with candles, and you could come and light a candle for someone, and it was very moving. Uh, Really? Well, maybe I was lucky at Fusion, but it was, I was, yeah. The which? Yes. No. Real tattoos? Who's they? So how is this volume? Can people hear okay? Is it turned on? Okay, good. Well, welcome. Welcome, everyone. So this is a tradition at First Parish. The deacons often host some services over the summer. And I was a deacon last year, and when they said, who would like to host a summer service, I said, oh, great, well, let's do a meditation service. And it's an opportunity to sort of, I hate to use the word showcase, but to show what we do every Thursday in the meditation Sangha that we have, which has been meeting now for 12 years. We meet in this room on Thursday afternoons. Thank you very much. See, I'm thinking one sentence ahead, so Tuesday afternoon. And so we're basically going to go through the same sequence that we do in the meditation group. I'll say a few words. Then we'll sit for about 15 minutes. And then Joan will say a few words about walking meditation. And we'll do a walking meditation through the sanctuary. When we come back, in the Tuesday group, we go around and say our names, which is a sweet way of, it's a small thing, but it's just, I'm here, I'm a human being, I'm here. And so we'll do that. And tell me if I'm not loud enough. And then in the Tuesday group, we usually read from a book, often by Thich Nhat Hanh, and I've printed out a few pages of a book that we can read. And then after that, we often have a mindful sharing. And that's not really a discussion, but it's a chance to, almost like a Quaker service, to say what's on your mind, what's moving you. And since there's some new people here, I think if we could also make it into a Q&A. If anyone has any questions, we can discuss them. So let me give a brief introduction. Oh, and then we'll close with a metta practice. I'll lead a short loving kindness meditation, and then we can speak the names or describe anyone that we wish to send loving kindness to. So I got involved in meditation a long time ago when the TM Center was in Cambridge. And at the time, I thought that meditation, the goal of meditation was to clear your mind so that it would be blissfully empty and you'd just be in an Om state all the time. And I've come to learn that that's, first of all, not possible and not really the goal of meditation. The goal of meditation is to be present and to be aware of where you are. And you will find that, well, if you're like me, I heard the phrase monkey mind, which is there's this little beast in there chattering away. And I'll sit, and the first 5 seconds are easy, and then I start thinking about, well, what's for lunch? And then, well, I'm sure you can identify with it. So the purpose is to notice when you've drifted off and are thinking about lunch or thinking about what you're going to do later in the day. And for me, the point is that it's been very helpful, because if I can notice when I'm drifting off in meditation, there's a chance that when someone cuts me off on the road, I can notice that I'm filled with rage and thinking of leaning on the horn and mashing down the accelerator and shaking my fist at this jerk. And if I notice it, then I can make a decision about whether that's what I want to do. Maybe it's appropriate. Maybe it's not. So in the meditation we do, the breath is the focus. You need it's helpful. It's very helpful to have something to anchor yourself to. And the breath is something that you do all the time. It's amazing, because if you forget to breathe, the body will take care of it. You'll breathe anyway. But you can also be aware of the breathing. So it's a wonderful light anchor, because it's always there. And then thoughts will come, notice them, and come back to your breath. And personally, I find it also very helpful that in dealing with thoughts that are, obsessive. In other words, thoughts that just keep coming and keep saying, think me, think me. I'm really important, you know. And if I say, thank you, little thought, please have a seat down here and let me get back to my breathing, they just keep coming. They may keep coming for 10 or 12 minutes. But I personally find it very helpful that sooner or later they say, oh, okay, and they sit down and I get on with my meditation. So I find that very helpful. That's why I meditate. So why don't we sit for about 15 minutes, and I'll start with a little bit of guiding, not very much, and let's see how it goes. So I'll ring a bell 3 times to signal the beginning of the meditation, and then I'll ring the bell at the end 3 times to signal the end of the meditation. And in the tradition that Joan and I both follow, it's considered polite to wake up the bell, to gently tap the bell so that the bell is not startled, which also serves the purpose of not startling all the people in the room. So. A good place to start is to say something like, I notice that I'm breathing in. I notice that I'm breathing out. Or breathing in, breathing out. Or just in, out. Or maybe just being aware that you're breathing in without putting words to it. It can be daunting to pay attention to the breath for minutes at a time. I find it helpful to say to myself, I can do one breath. I'll pay attention to this one in-breath. Okay, now I'll pay attention to this in-breath. When you notice something going on in the room, it's just another thought. Notice it. Come back to your breathing. If you find yourself annoyed that cars aren't supposed to be driving on Sunday morning that loudly, especially not motorcycles, that's especially wonderful because it's an opportunity to notice the charge that comes with the thought, the assumption that things should be different than they are. Thich Nhat Hanh recommends that you pay particular attention each time you notice that you think someone should be different than the way they are. there's no such thing as a bad meditation. If you find yourself consumed with thoughts, if the thoughts come in shrieking, think me, then that's where you are. And the door to the next breath is always open. Here. Now. As we begin the last few minutes of the time we've set aside for meditation, how may I best use the time remaining to me? May this practice be of benefit to me and those I hold dear. May this practice be of benefit to all beings. May all beings be free from fear. May all beings know ease and be free from suffering.
Hi, I'm Joan Kimball, and I thought I'd say something about walking meditation before we start. Walking meditation is a wonderful practice for being in the moment, and the breath is said to be the bridge between the mind and the body. And so walking meditation gives you a really wonderful physical ability to feel that. And Thich Nhat Hanh refers to those thoughts we have all the time as radio station nonstop talking. So your mind talks at you all the time. And thinking is really good when you're planning and being constructive, but thinking, why didn't I say that to Nancy yesterday? Oh, this is really dreadful. And I should have sent Mary the email I said I would send her. And oh, and tomorrow I've got to make the agenda for tomorrow. And what do I want to put on? All this sort of stuff is just radio nonstop talking. And this sitting meditation and walking meditation is a practice in mindfulness to have us be mindful. And when we're doing some constructive thinking, we're being mindful of that. And when we're walking, we're being mindful of that. And when we're sitting, we're being mindful. This is a practice. And when we drive, as Ben mentioned, Thich Nhat Hanh said we can use the stoplights as the bell of mindfulness. We see a stoplight, we stop, we breathe 3 times, and we're here. Because many of us have ended up being somewhere and we don't remember the drive. How did I get here, we think? Because we've been off somewhere listening to radio nonstop thinking. So I thought I would also do a little demonstration of the walking. When you walk outside, it can be at any speed you want, but inside, when we go through the sanctuary, it's pretty slow. So it does require some balance, and the pews are there very nicely to help us if we need a little leaning. But the tradition is you start on the left foot. And there's several things that I think, or that I practice, which is not thinking, it's a mantra. It's like a poem, but it's not a poem, it's just words. But anyway, you start with your left foot, and you think in, and you breathe in, and you out, and you breathe out. So you're connecting all the time. In, out. In, out. And if your mind goes somewhere else, all of a sudden, you're not doing the in on the left foot, you're doing the in on the right foot. And you think, oh yes, I've got to stop and reconnect. So go back to in, out. And then there are a couple of other things that I do. One is if I have my heart with someone, I walk with them. And it could be someone that's not here. It could be someone in California. It could be someone that's transitioned to the next life. So I will do what I often do, which is Dan. Dan, on the left foot, I walk with you. Dan, I walk with you. Dan, I walk with you. And the other thing about being mindful, when I do this, I'm also very aware of what I'm seeing, and walking in the sanctuary is very precious to me. And walking with a group is very precious with me because I have the community, the beloved community, walking, and we just fill the whole church as we go around, and we can hear the footsteps of our fellow and sisters as we walk. So it's very meaningful to me. So what we will do is we will, Ben will sound the bell, first bell, and the second bell, the first bell will stand behind our chairs. And the second bell, we bow to each other, and the bowing just is sort of a recognition. And it used to be that everyone just bowed like this. But then we found in the Sangha, people wanted to acknowledge each person. So many people will just bow to each person as they go around the room. But it could be the Buddha in me bows to the Buddha in you, the Holy Spirit in me bows to the Holy Spirit in you. It's an acknowledgement of just the sacredness of each other. And the sound of the third bell, we will start the walking meditation. And I will go out this way, and Jane will follow Janet, and we'll go around this way. So from there on, you walk around, and then come out. So that it used to be, before we did this, that it was sort of chaotic because no one knew when to come. So is that clear? Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me? I also would like to welcome everyone on altar who are joining us at home. It's really lovely. And I meant to say that you could do your walking meditation when we did our meditation, but we welcome you all very much to sit here with us today. And Ben is coming back, and we've shared our names, Ben.
I forgot to mention that Sarah Klokowski was planning to be part of this meeting, and I was going to ask her to offer a prayer to get us started. And she texted that she's up in Salem, and she had a very bad migraine this morning, and that she thought the wisest thing to do was to stay put. So, and she had planned to meet this mother and son pair who were checking out the church for the son's possible wedding. And so I took Sarah's role and answered some of their questions. So I'm sorry I was gone. And in terms of the prayer, I'm reminded of something that is said of Mother Teresa. Someone asked Mother Teresa, when you pray, what do you say to God? And she said, I mostly just listen. And the interviewer said, well, what does God say to you? And she said, God mostly just listens. So she said, God mostly just listens. God, I assume, has an appropriate microphone and knows how to use it, but that's a different story. So we had done we'd gotten to the part where now we would normally read. And we have a short reading, which was chosen, I'd like to say something about it. It was chosen because it's about sitting. It's all about sitting in this wonderful world we're in and becoming attuned to it and paying attention to it. And I wanted to say something that people might come away with the wrong idea that the author, which is Thich Nhat Hanh, is saying, oh, everything will be fine if you just find peace within yourself. Then everything will take care of itself. Then the earth will be healed. Then people will be healed. And that's really not the man's message, and that's not the message of the whole book. I think the metaphor is you've been wounded by an arrow, and the first thing to do is to remove the arrow. If you're frightened or enraged by what we're doing to the planet, the first job is to calm down and remove the arrow. And that's what the readings, to me, that's what the reading's about. And if you disagree, well, that's the wonderful thing about Buddhism, is that no one tells you you have to believe anything. It's really, this has been found helpful. Why don't you try this on and see if it works for you? See if it's true for you. So I present the reading in that spirit. Joan.
Thank you, Ben. I just wanted to say one thing, and that Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese monk, and he lived through the war in Vietnam, so he knows about suffering in a very personal and profound way. And I love Ben mentioning the arrow, because the arrow hits you and you can't choose that, but you can choose how to react. And so often Buddhists talk about the second arrow. Something happens and you say, oh, why did that happen to me? Why didn't I do something about, it's just we choose how to act. It's choice, and that's very precious to me.
So how should we do the reading? We have some printed copies. What we would normally do on Tuesday is we would pass the book around. Each person would read a paragraph. Why don't we do that this morning? If you don't feel like reading, that's fine. Just pass it on. And I printed out a number of copies so that anyone who, and it will be challenging with the microphone because we all have to hold the microphone closer than we think we need to. So if anyone would like a printed copy, just let Joan know. And one to pass around?
And maybe what we could do is the person next to you could maybe see if we could hold it so you can read. We'll practice with Mimsy.
You want me to hold it?
No, I can do it, but, or whatever you want. You're the leader.
So why don't you practice holding the microphone for me?
Okay.
And this is it's titled Doing Nothing is Doing Something, or as they often say in Buddhist circles, don't just do something, sit there. To meditate is not to run away from life, but to take time to look deeply into ourselves or into a situation. Meditation is an opportunity to take care of our body and our mind. That's why it's so important. We allow ourselves the time to calm our thinking, to sit, to walk, to breathe, not doing anything, just going back to ourselves and what is around us. We allow ourselves time to release the tension in our body and our mind. Then we can take time to look deeply into ourselves and into the situation we are in.
I can just walk around with it.
If we feel helpless or overwhelmed, if we have anger, fear, or despair, then no matter what we do to heal ourselves or our planet, it will not succeed. Meditating is the most basic, crucial thing we can do. To meditate is to give ourselves a chance to free ourselves from despair, to touch non-fear, and to nurture our compassion. With the insight and fearlessness born from meditation, we will be able to help not only ourselves, but also other species and our planet.
When you practice sitting meditation, the first thing you do is to bring peace to your breath and to your body. Pay attention to your in-breath and out-breath. Your breathing will naturally become more peaceful and smooth, and it will also become very pleasant. Sit solely for the joy and nourishment of sitting.
Stop thinking and just be with your breathing. Breathing mindfully brings your mind home to your body. Bring your awareness to your body, relax your body, and release any tension that is there. Your body is a miracle. When you can touch the wonder of your body, you have the opportunity to touch Mother Earth within you as a wonder, too, and healing begins straight away. We don't need to wait 10 years for healing to take place. Many of us have become sick because we're alienated from our body and from the body of the earth. So the practice is to go home to Mother Earth to get the healing and nourishment we so desperately need. Mother Earth is always ready to embrace us and help nourish and heal us. And as we heal, we're helping the earth to heal at the same time.
We tend to think that we have to do something to heal the earth. But sitting with mindfulness and concentration is doing something. We don't have to fight in order to feel the benefits of sitting. Just allow yourself to sit quietly. Allow yourself to be yourself. Don't do anything but allow the sitting and the breathing to take place. Don't strive. Relaxation will come. When you are completely relaxed, healing will take place on its own. There's no healing without relaxation. And relaxation means doing nothing. There is only breathing and sitting.
Don't try to force your breathing, just allow it to follow its natural rhythm. We just enjoy our in and out breath. Healing begins when you aren't trying to do anything. This is the practice of non-practice. If we know how to take refuge in Mother Earth, we can experience healing through sitting, walking, or simply by breathing. We can feel a solidity under our feet. We can see her majesty in high mountain peaks and lakes, and in the vast blue sky, winding rivers, and deep oceans. If we truly believe in the planet's power to heal herself, she can also heal us.
We don't have to do anything at all. Just surrender ourselves to Mother Earth and she will do everything for us. We are the earth. The earth is us. We can allow this process to happen by itself. As we sit, we may become aware that outside, up in the sky, there are so many stars. We may not be able to see them, but they are there nevertheless. We are sitting on an amazingly beautiful planet, which is revolving in our galaxy, the Milky Way, a river containing trillions of stars.
If we are able to have the awareness when we sit, then what else do we need to sit for? We all see all the wonders of the universe and of our planet Earth very clearly. When we sit with this kind of awareness, we can embrace the whole world from the past to the future. When we sit like that, our happiness is boundless.
So in our Tuesday meditation, at this point we would do what we call mindful sharing, and Joan is so much better at introducing it that I'll call upon her. And normally it's not a Q&A session, although I think that today if anyone has a question, not that Joan or I would have the answer, but it's certainly fine to ask questions.
Okay, this is an opportunity for mindful sharing and loving speech and deep listening. And so each person should feel that they can share whatever is in their heart. And we often do it about the reading if things have come up. And it's not a discussion, so we don't say, oh, I don't agree with Bill at all, because that's sort of a judgment and doesn't make other people want to share. And even if you say, oh, I agree with Betty totally, that also is sort of a judgment and may make people not feel free to share. So we don't make comments. But if something comes up that's you're thinking too, just don't refer to the other person who said it. Just say, you know, I'd like to say something about something. So you don't have to do what we do, but we usually bow in just to let people know that we want to speak. That's so you don't have to raise your hand and feel like you're in elementary school. and we speak, and you might pause because you might want to think of a word. So we bow out at the end to let everyone know that we're finished, and leave a breath or two between each person. And one of the things that happens at meetings, often someone will be speaking and then the other people will be thinking, what do I want to say about that? So this is not that kind of sharing. It's a kind of sharing where we share what's in our hearts. And I find that I learn so much from what people are saying and other people's reactions, so it's very, very precious. And I'll come around with the mic. Could I share something? Beginning. I really like this reading, and one of the things that nature has been so important to me, and I just love the fact that Thich Nhat Hanh talks about it so much. We named our Sangha the Green Fields Sangha because of the fields behind us, and often we talk about how when something bad happens, we have a choice of how to react, and so we can be very sad or very upset, but we can also notice the sunset and notice the clouds. And this practice for me has been so helpful. It's really changed my life in order, just that sort of having a more balanced view. It's been very precious. And one other thing, Thich Nhat Hanh's, in his order, there is a green order, and they are working for changes for Mother Earth. But they don't feel that you do it with anger in your heart. You try to do it with just love and compassion and working for change. And I'll come around with the mic. Is it polite to come from this side? Is there a rule?
I'm sure there's a rule, but I don't know it. I just was struck. It's been so hot and so sticky and uncomfortable, and it was very satisfying to open all the windows this morning. And there's a little bit of a breeze, and the temperature may not be perfect, but it's okay. And it's just very satisfying to open the windows.
I'm Jane Cooper. I have memories of coming to this church with my husband that go back to the 1970s. And I have enjoyed it just to come back and see the place, to walk around it, to be with you. It is very relaxing and beautiful. I brought something to read to you, but I'm not going to now because this is to come from the heart. I am very privileged and I feel very lucky to have this church and all of you. And thank you very much for that.
I haven't come to this Tuesday meditations in some months, so I'm really grateful that this Sunday service was, what to call it, a service, Sunday meditation, to be back and doing that practice again, especially since I thought what was keeping me away was the work that I do, which is involved in climate change and fighting lots of the factors, but sometimes just stopping and saying, no, you just have to be here and remember what you're here for. So thank you. Thank you for doing this.
I'm Barbara Slater, and I've been a member of First Parish for a long time, but I have never been to a First Parish meditation. So I'm happy to be here and happy to learn about it, and I'm grateful for that.
I'm Jane O'Rourke, and I think I've shared over the time since I've arrived about 4 years ago how grateful I am to be part of this community. But today in particular, I just want to say thank you. I had a very strong meditation practice in an earlier part of my life when I truly needed it and kind of got away from it. And it held me. You know, there's something about rhythms in life. They can hold you when you most need them. And this is such a beautiful reminder of a rhythm, because I would meditate. It was a chanting practice, and I would meditate first thing in the morning and at the end of my day. It would bookend a day, and it would really help remind me of my most internal strength and the courage and the best of myself to bring to the world. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for this beautiful reminder. And I'm so grateful that Mimsy and I are doing hospitality so we can be a part of it. Thank you.
I guess all I need to say is how grateful I have been for this opportunity. Meditation is not a practice of mine. But Joan, with your nice setting of an example before we took our walk, I brought to myself my mother and my father, who both would have turned 100 years old this past week. And they've been in my mind and all around me. And today, I mean, just now, I just walked with them for the first time. Maybe that's not true, but I walked with them. It was just lovely, lovely, lovely.
I mentioned before that I plan to lead a practice in loving kindness meditation, but apparently I didn't have a good sense of time about the service, and that won't really fit. So I suggest we move to what we call our metta practice, which is an opportunity for people to offer thoughts or prayers for people that they would like to hold in the light, or like us to send loving kindness to. So again, if anyone would like to do this, please indicate by bowing in.
I would like to offer metta this morning to my friend Peter, who is suffering from end-stage Parkinson's. And it is the disability, but also the loneliness that comes with people shying away from contact as a person experiences more and more disability. So my heart goes out to Peter and to his wife, Libby, who is an amazing caregiver.
I would like to send metta to the all the people of Maui for the just desperate tragedy that's unfolding there.
I share that, Janet. The one place I ever went to in Hawaii is now a charred ruin, and it's really hard to imagine. Certainly metta to all of them. And also to my sister-in-law, Leslie, who is with her brother this weekend, who is dying from ALS, and that is a very hard thing for their whole family. So, metta to John Noble.
I'd like to offer metta to my friend Crystal Ide, who is a dear and important friend of mine. She has helped me so much. Thank you, Crystal.
I have two mettas. I'd like to send metta to all the people who are suffering and people who are missing people. I just send metta and all our love to you, each of you. And I also would like to send metta to our beloved Mother Earth, who is crying right now through her fires and floods and hurricanes. And may we awaken, may our country awaken to the beauty of Mother Earth and to the solace and everything that she gives us. And may we take care of her. Metta.
I would like to send metta to all, there's so many people suffering, but all the people that we have sent metta to in the last years that we've been meeting as a Sangha. Metta. Why don't we sit for another minute or so? I'll use one bell this time. Well, that ends the... I forgot a part. That does not end the service. We will, I'll ring the bell 3 times. The first time, let's stand behind our chairs. The second time, acknowledge each other. And the third time, let us bow to Mother Earth. Well, thank you all for coming, and thank you especially to Mimsy and Jane for providing a small movable feast for us.